Okay, great. Well, it's 9:01. We're going to get started here. We're very excited this evening. We have one of our business partners with us that's here in freezing Michigan, Sierra Swartz, and she's going to talk with us this evening about what she does she's been very good at going out and establishing corporate accounts in her marketplace, and that's one of the obviously, it's a great way for us, and one of our opportunities as agents with FES is to be able to, because our product runs so well in the marketplace, is to be able to go out and establish these corporate accounts, within your local marketplace, so that you have referral partners that are, giving you leads, or not leads, but referrals, people that, absolutely need what it is that we have in order for them to do whatever it is that they're trying to do and be a customer for that referral source. So having corporate accounts is obviously a great thing because then you have, again, those people that are sending you those referrals, and it's more of it's a hotter or an easier sell, if you will, okay, when you're talking about the credit restoration piece. So anyway, so we're very excited about that. Sierra's, again, had a lot of success with that. She's going to be sharing with us this evening some of the things that she does when she does go out into the marketplace and talk with those people. So let me see here. Give me 1 second. I want to see. We still have people coming on board, so we're going to kind of hold off for just one more second here, another minute perhaps, and give people an opportunity to join in here. So we'll be starting here very shortly. Before we do get started, there's a couple things. There's a chat box in the lower left-hand panel there. Please, if somebody could send me a message, let me know that you can hear me okay and that you can see the screen. There's a little question and answer box there on the right-hand side. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Steve. Thanks you, Lauren. Awesome. I got Lauren and Lauren. Welcome, Lauren Ragland. Hey, Dana. All right, Diane. Thank you. Glad you're here. Glad you guys are all here. Candace. Very cool. Okay, so before we get started here, before I turn this over to Sierra, there's a couple things I want to go through. And first thing is that what we're going to be talking about this evening is preparation, and preparation is key, obviously, to being able to go out and set up these corporate accounts. We're going to be talking about using the tools that are available within the FES system. The introduction, if you will, when you walk into that corporate account, teaching those accounts to refer people to you, not just give you leads. There is a difference between those two terms. Account follow-up, following up with the clients, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that we're doing to track those referrals that are being received from those accounts, and just a good way to keep in communication with those accounts so that they have a tendency to give you more referrals, okay, because they're receiving updates back from you, and they know what's going on with their clients. So before we get started here, obviously we've got some trainings coming up here in January this weekend. We're going to be in Houston, Texas. We're going to be in DC metro area, Atlanta, Georgia, all January the 9th through the 11th, this weekend coming up. So if you're in and or around those areas, and based on the attendance, I do see some people that are in and around those areas. And as I've always told you, and I will continue to tell you, the trainings are the key to this business. The trainings are the key to this business. Stop fighting it. Stop not going. Go to the training so that you can build a successful business. Certainly the things that we're teaching you here tonight are going to help you. But the key to this business is the trainings. Get yourself to a training. Again, there's people that are on here tonight that I keep telling them, get to a training, get to a training. They're wondering why their business isn't doing quite what they want it to do, and it's right there in front of you, okay? Next weekend, I'm going to be in Chicago. Sierra's going to be in Chicago. And see, that's the thing. Sierra's a sales director. She's moving up through the ranks. I'm moving up through the ranks, and there's other people that are going to be in Chicago, and I can't even tell you how many trainings I've been to. And I will continue to go to the trainings because the trainings work, okay? And I've been in the company for a very, very long time, and I can't even imagine what it would be like today without the trainings. And I certainly know that I would not have the position in the company that I have today, or the results that I'm getting if I didn't have the trainings. That's just flat out what it is, okay? Orange County, California, St. Louis, Missouri, and St. Paul, Minneapolis. Hopefully it's going to thaw out in some of those places before the trainings actually happen here. But that's going to be the 16th through the 18th. So FES University, make sure you go there, check it out, and get yourself registered. The big thing, the mother of all trainings for us this year, are our Super Bowl, FES Super Bowl, is going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, February 6th through the 8th. This is it, guys. Anybody that's in this company is going to be in Las Vegas, February 6th through the 8th. This is going to be the year. We have some incredible announcements that are going to be made. There's going to be a lot of excitement. There's going to be a lot of energy. There's going to be all of the key people in the business there. You're going to have an opportunity to spend a weekend with all of the top producers, get into their head, find out what they're doing to build this incredible business and opportunity that we have. Okay, so this you absolutely want to be in Las Vegas. If it comes down to, I can only afford to go to either a training or Las Vegas, be at the convention. Okay, you're going to need to. I don't know if they extended the room block that we had at the Paris Hotel, but you're going to want to make that phone call as soon as possible to get your room reserved. You're obviously going to want to start taking a look at the flights. The flights are still pretty cheap right now. And get yourself registered. Go to fesconvention.com, and you can check out all of the information there regarding the convention and the itinerary, and great video there to watch as well, promotional video that we created. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of training, a lot of serious stuff going on there, a lot of major announcements being made for this year, some incredible product developments, marketing stuff that's all designed to help each and every one of us go out and have a successful 2015, man. This thing is going to take off, and you definitely want to be a part. You want to be there. You want to be a part of history. There's no better way to get that information and create some excitement for yourself and your team other than being in Las Vegas. So bottom line, you want to be there. All right. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to again, Sierra Schwartz is a sales director with FES, very successful, very classy, very passionate individual that's building a successful business with this company. She's been able to go out, and one of her expertise is developing corporate accounts in her marketplace. So she's going to be sharing with us this evening what it is that she does to help you be able to go out and build your business as well. So it's pretty incredible that she's going to be doing that for us this evening. Sierra, can you hear me okay?
I can, Mark. Can you hear me fine?
Yep, awesome. All righty, I'm gonna turn over the controls to you, and hopefully you'll be able to navigate through the slides. I can see your screen right now. Is it giving you an option to...
Open.
All right, let me try this a different way. I'm going to take back.
Okay.
I'm going to take back control. I'm going to give you the keyboard. Are you able to maneuver the slides?
No.
Okay, so you don't see, it didn't give you any notification, because right now it's telling me that you have the keyboard and the mouse.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
We're good.
We
We're
figured
up
it out.
and running.
Okay.
You know, I got to say, if it weren't for you, I'd be in a lot of trouble because you're definitely knowledgeable when it comes to this technology. Yeah,
Sometimes I just wing it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just wing it. So great. Awesome. Okay, well, it's all yours.
It works.
It's all yours.
Thanks.
I'm going to mute myself out so that we don't get any background feed from my end, okay?
Sure.
Cool.
I really appreciate being on the call tonight. I know that it's an honor actually to talk to your team, Mark, as well as I know I have some teammates on the call as well this evening. But you're so knowledgeable in the business and definitely a leader, and you're very passionate and committed to helping your team as well as other teams and new agents and the company as a whole grow. So I appreciate and respect your passion for committing to this and letting us be a part of it. So thanks for having me on, and we are definitely going to talk a little bit about training before we get rolling here and before I kind of introduce myself, because I do want to hit on that one last time. It is so, so important to get trained. And in the beginning, before I committed, or maybe submitted would be a better word, to the trainings, my business struggled. I definitely had a hard time getting up and running, and when I had success in other businesses, I thought, I'll go to a couple trainings, I'll pick up what I need, I'll apply it in my own way, and I'll do great. Well, that doesn't work. So I've been to, I don't know, 20-some trainings at this point, and will continue to go. I'll go my entire career because you're always taking away something new, something that you can utilize, and a tool to help you grow your team. And every time you go, you're in a different spot within your organization, within your company itself, whether it be title or you're managing others. All those things change, and getting back to an SOS is going to allow you to develop those new skill sets. So definitely important. Another thing that people don't realize that you get from a SOS training or something as big as convention is the relationships. I wouldn't have this opportunity to talk to you this evening if it weren't for going to Forging of Leaders. We just had that in Georgia, and I had an opportunity to sit and speak with Mark one-on-one, tell him about my business, learn about his business, and what was working, what wasn't working, and just bounce ideas off of him. And again, that relationship led me to this point of sharing, you know, how I'm having success with some of my corporate accounts with all of you. So those relationships are definitely key, and that's where you get those relationships, is from those trainings. So definitely important. A little bit about me, if it lets me advance. Which it's not. I'm going to let you figure that out, Mark, because I'm definitely technically challenged. All right. So I'm married. My husband is Dennis. We've been married for almost 10 years now. And we both work from home with this new career of mine with SES for the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And he works from home as well. So definitely a different situation than most families. But I'm also a mother, and I have 2 children. Madeline is in the picture there doing some work with me. She is 2, very high-spirited like her mother. And then my son Noah is 7, so he's in school right now. And, you know, definitely a full-time job being a wife and parent. And then I have my business. I have FES, which is something else I'm passionate about. So really, these are my three passions, and I think that I can be successful in all of those. And if I can do it, anyone can do it, because we're all stretched thin a lot, but we can make things happen if we really want them to happen. And I'm passionate about my career, and I'm sure you all are too, because you're on the call tonight. So let's move forward. Should I just say next slide, Mark, and you can kind of
yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right, next slide.
Okay.
So definitely preparation is key in getting corporate accounts. We really have to dress for success. It's a very common term, but in this industry, we're dealing with lenders. We're dealing with general managers of, or finance and insurance managers of dealerships. You know, we're dealing with a professional industry, and we have to look the part. We're representing our business. We're representing United Credit. We are the face of our company, and if we're not dressed in proper attire and business attire, we're not going to have success setting up corporate accounts. So it's very important we dress the part, and that's going to portray the face of our company to our potential corporate account. Next slide. So we're going to talk about a couple of the tools that you need to use when you're setting up corporate accounts. Obviously, you need to know your script. The script you want to study and learn, practice, drill, rehearse, as it says, is developing corporate accounts, the guidelines to building your sales pipeline. This is literally everything you need to know when you go and you speak to a new account. If you were on the phone with them, making a phone call was your first contact, you could read through this, as long as you didn't sound like you were reading it, due to practice. And it would be word for word exactly the kind of questions that you're going to be asked. The answers are in here. It's designed for you from the field. It's from our trainers that have already walked the walk. They've already done the process of going in and cold calling, warm market, the whole 9 yards. And this is exactly what they came out with. And it hits the nail on the head. It's exactly what you face when you do go out and you talk to a corporate account. Next slide. So some of the tools you want to be prepared with when you go in, obviously now you've studied your script, you know your script. You want to bring some of the marketing materials with you that corporate provides us. Now you can pick these up by ordering them through fesuniversity.com, or when you attend one of your trainings, they're always readily available for you to pick them up there as well. They've got bundled packages to make it more cost effective, where you have everything included that you'll need. The two things on your screen right now are our United Credit folder, which is a nice shiny, glossy cover. It's actually printed front, back, inside, all has print on it, very professional, which is what you want to portray when you go in and try to get a corporate account. The credit brochure is here as well. That's going to go inside your folder. When you open that up, you've got your left-hand side where we're going to put a couple pieces of paper we're going to look at in a moment, and then your credit restoration brochure. There's a perfect spot for that, and then your business card right below. Next slide. So here's your business card. This is the one we recommend you use when you're using your brochures or just going out and talking to people about the credit repair piece. When you print your cards up, don't put your personal website on your card, because that website is going to direct them to your homepage, which obviously offers all of the services and can be overwhelming to a client. Now, if you've already ordered cards, obviously you can use those cards. Myself, I have not had a problem with people getting going to the website, but it's definitely something that you should consider. So I like this added thought that Mark has shared with me about keeping the website off, because there really is no need for them to have that if you're just talking to the client about credit restoration.
Yeah, and really the idea behind this, Sierra, is that folks, is that we want to create a conversation with that client. You know, if we give them too much information, obviously we don't mind them going to the United-Credit.org website, because what are they going to see? They're going to see information regarding the credit restoration program. If we put our personal websites on here, our FES websites on his business card, they may stumble across. They're going to stumble across the opportunity, and we don't want to confuse them. Okay, they're already a warm lead. They've already been denied, whatever it is that they're trying to do. So we're not trying to confuse the two. And secondly, we don't want a situation. You don't want a situation where a client is referred to you, and they go back to whoever it was that referred them and say, hey, what's going on here? I mean, we got to, I went to the guy's website and it's offering me an opportunity or something like that. And really, we just want to be able to have that conversation with them. We want to talk to them about what it is that they're trying to accomplish in terms of their goals, and then just guide them down that path towards fixing their credit, in the situation. So that's really the idea behind that.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I mean, I'm sure you would agree, Mark. I've never had a client, I've never directed a client to go to my website to sign up.
Ever.
For multiple sales.
Never.
But that's never happened.
Yeah.
In 2 years, it's never happened.
Yeah.
So
I've never, in the last,
there, absolutely.
Yeah. In 5 years, I've never, ever sent anybody to my affiliate site for anything. Okay. So other than, other when they sign up as an agent, that's the only time they ever see that site. And it's kind of like, we're controlling the flow of information to that client depending upon what their needs are. And if somebody says, if I'm signing up an agent, then they're going to see my affiliate site because I'm going to walk them through the application. But other than that, they're not seeing my site unless I'm ready to show it to them. So awesome. All right.
And we want to control the variables. So that gives us another way to control those variables. That, we're going to answer any questions they have. If we're taking the application, we know that the information's been entered correctly. All of those variables are no longer an issue. So next slide for me, Mark, please. All right, so here is our corporate letter. You can find this in your business office under Forms and Documents, and print that off. You can customize it. It allows you to open it, customize it with your name, title, phone number, and email at the bottom. You want to address it for the date that you're meeting with the potential account and the person's name. If you know their name and their business address, you want to put that on there because that's just going to make it more personal, more customized, more all about them, and that's why you're there. So this letter is going to go on the left-hand side inside your folder on top of the next screen. If you could forward real quick. On top of your corporate references. And this is just references from all over the U.S. of different corporate accounts that we've had that have been happy with our services and they've had success with our services. So it's just a great tool to edify the company itself, to show that you're with a company that has a proven track record. It's just an edification tool that works very, very well in the field. Go ahead and advance for me. Thank you. Another one, obviously car magnets. What a great tool. People see you around town. If you have a smaller town that you live in, you get to be known. People will wave, they see you with your magnets on. I've always had a great response to my magnets. And different markets, obviously there's different use for your magnets. Sometimes it's just a marketing tool for people to see you. Others, people are going to be calling off it all the time. So it just really depends on the market you're in, but it's always a good tool no matter where you're at because it builds that name recognition. This, you're getting in people's mental Rolodex when they see your car drive by. They see, you're picking up your kids at school and there you are with your car magnet. Like people will remember when they run across someone who has a credit challenge, they're going to think, oh yeah, someone that always picks their kid up at my school has it. Next time they might grab your card when they see you. So great marketing tool. I highly recommend the car magnets. I know several of my team members have them and they're excited to get them put on their car. I have a couple that just recently ordered them. So go ahead and fast forward. Thank you. So first impressions. Obviously first impressions are huge. People are going to judge you immediately on how you introduce yourself. They say 3 to 5 seconds. People make a judgment call on whether or not they want to do business with you. So make that introduction count. Introduce yourself as an account executive with United Credit or whatever your title is on your business card. If you have representative, sales agent, whatever it is, introduce yourself as that title with United Credit. Make sure you arrive early. You always want to be there ahead of time, show that you're prepared. Firmly shake their hand. Don't crush their hand. We know it's all about that, but firmly shake their hand and show your confidence. Smile. Be happy. Be excited. Not overly excited. Be excited. Be confident in what you're doing and what you're presenting. And confidence comes with knowing that script. And that's learning, training, studying it over and over again. Make sure you posture yourself well. Don't be all hunched over and kind of, unhappy to be there. Be the confident person that they want to do business with. Speak clearly when you're explaining the services and introducing yourself. And then it's time to get down to business. They're there to do business with you, to find out why you're there. You can have a little bit of chit-chat, but really get down to business and don't waste their time. We always want to make sure we're asking questions, not telling them what they want to hear or what we think they want to hear. If you're asking questions, you're finding out, you're directing the conversation and finding out the information that you need. So obviously when you look at the script, it starts off with, well, let me ask you, what do you do with your clients that can't qualify to buy a home because of a low credit score? Typically they're going to say nothing. If they say they refer to an outside source, we'll talk about that. That's in the script. But most of the time, you're going to hear, well, nothing. I turn them away. I can't do anything with them. I can't help them.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Sarah, one of the things that can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. One of the things that we know, and you're going to be surprised, guys, when you walk into when you go into your local market and you start approaching some of these accounts, you're going to find out that the majority of them are going to say they're not doing anything with them. That's what's going to be really surprising. So I strongly encourage you, as we go through this presentation, we talk about, the tools that you're going to be using, that type of thing. You're going to blow people away. You start walking in with those folders and the letters and the references. I mean, those are actual, those references, those corporate references are real. Okay. You're going to find out again that the majority of the companies out there, I mean, sure, you may walk into a few, but when we go through the rest of this presentation, the things that we're doing with those corporate accounts that you're going to learn, that Sierra is doing, is going to teach you, the other companies aren't doing out there. If there is even a company that's going into these accounts. So that's just something I want to make sure that you're aware of.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, Mark, because a lot of times I think people's hesitation when you first go in to talk to a loan officer, let's use mortgage as an example. When you go in to talk to a mortgage officer about your business and you're new, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to sound ridiculous. I'm going to sound stupid. They're going to ask me all these questions. I really didn't even get a lot of questions because people don't know. They don't know what credit repair is. They don't know how it works for the most part. And so you're leading the conversation. You're explaining the service. I never really got a ton of questions, and it could just be my market. But I think across the board, that's pretty common. So again, we want to ask questions, not tell them what we think they want to hear. So you're going to ask, how many people do you think you turn away because of that? And then you have to wait because you want them to actually think of that number. What's that magic number? 15 a month, 20 a month, 25 a month, 10 this week? How many? So wait for them to process that, which takes a few minutes, or not a few minutes, but a few seconds normally. And wait for them to come up with an answer because when they do, you're going to be putting in their mind, that's how many I could be saving, or I could be saving a portion of those sales that I'm turning away. And then you're going to tell them, what if I could show you a way to get some of those potential clients to return as qualified buyers? You'd be open to that, wouldn't you? And of course they're going to say yes, because why would they say no? And then we have to edify. We have to edify the business. So when they say yes, you're going to follow the script and ask them if they'd like to see a demo. You can obviously walk them through the demo right there on their laptop or their desktop if you're sitting in their office. Usually they'll turn the screen towards you, and you just walk right through the demo. Go ahead and pull up united-credit.org. You're going to enter a John Doe account, so I can sort of show you exactly what you get. But you see on the home screen here, you've got a video that the client can view to get more information about our services and credit repair, some general information about how credit scores are calculated. Then you have them log in using the 9 nines and JDoe. and you walk through the screens. There's only 3 or 4 screens on there. It's all broken down in that script. You just walk them right through the demo. Most cases, they'll just start asking you questions. They might say, no, I don't need to see that. Let me ask you another couple questions. And when they ask those questions, you're just going to answer them exactly how it says to in the script. Usually it's how does it work? I've never heard of it. You just really want to set yourself apart from the competition, especially if they're working with another competitor at the moment. So you have to edify United Credit, right? You have to build the brand to this person, like who is United Credit. If you're not in Michigan, obviously you're going to need to explain a little bit more than we do have to here in Michigan, because it's kind of nice to say we're Michigan-based, I have to say. But you're basically just going to edify the company. United Credit's a 10-year-old company. We've got a 10-year track record. We've got an A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau, which I say a lot of times is unheard of in this industry. I say that a lot because people don't realize this is a verification business. We're not promising our clients anything as far as we can't promise how many points we can bring them up. You know, we're basically an edification, or a verification business. So to have an A+ rating means we're really taking care of our clients. We're offering that satisfaction guarantee, which is outstanding. You're going to let them know that you're going to be their representative. They're not going to call an 800 number and get somebody overseas or someone else every time they call to get an answer from a question that they have from United Credit. So they're going to have that personal service, which is very important. They want to know the person that they're working with, and who they're turning their clients over to is going to be the person that's sitting in front of them. Our customers have their own website and web portal. I think that's huge as well. I don't know of another competitor, at least not in our area, that offers that. So huge advantage that we can say, look, this portal that website that we just pulled up is exactly what your clients are going to get. We not only help the customers restore their credit, but obviously we also provide information and tips on things that they can do to boost their credit score. So they get a little bit of the credit counseling piece with the credit restoration. And obviously they can always call customer service. We have credit specialists there, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, to also answer any questions that they may have on their specific situation. United Credit is fully staffed. Oh, just went over that. I'm talking with my hands too much, I think, Mark. And then, of course, we have the referral partner link and portal, and that's something that you can find in your business office as well. That allows you to provide that account with access to their clients' information. It's going to be a general screen information as far as how many items, derogatory items they started with, and how many items have been deleted. But they have access to that at any time, kind of what you see in your back office when you pull up the detailed information on a client. So a great tool for an account to have where they can just click and look at what's been deleted and the status of things in a snapshot.
Yeah, and I just want to add to this. I mean, guys, one thing that you got to recognize and realize at a very high level is I've been in this industry since 1998 in the credit restoration industry. I worked with, prior to FES, one of the largest at that time credit companies in the nation. We have something here today that nobody else can match. There is no other company out there that has what we have for the clients in terms of everything that we give to them. The credit counseling, as Sierra had alluded to, the portal, the attorney piece that we offer for them as well, the customer satisfaction guarantee, the results that we get, the A+ rating with the BBB. So the reason I say that is when you walk into these accounts, you should walk in like a rooster, man. I mean, you got your head held high, and here's what we can do. Because at the end of the day, if we're not able to help people, and I tell people this all the time, we don't live in a perfect world. If we're not able to help you, guess what? You're getting your money back. Okay, so you got nothing to lose other than your less than perfect credit, period. Okay? What are your options? All right. When you take a look at the other companies out there that try to compete with us, and maybe they've, there's only a couple companies out there that I consider competitors. Their pricing is we're like a third or a quarter of their price per year. There isn't anybody out there that can touch us for what we do. It's incredible. So, if you're new to this industry and that, and the reason I'm saying this is because if you're new to this industry, I want you to know that. You need to believe, and that's something you need to believe because it's the truth. And go into these accounts and know that in the back of your mind that, man, I got something here that's just going to blow you away. And we can really help you with your business. So.
So if they're already referring to another company, we want to ask a few questions. We want to know what do they do for your customer? Do you know what they do for their customer? Do they have a personal relationship with that person, with that representative? Do you know what they charge your client? Do they give your client a money-back guarantee? We want to ask these questions to get them to realize that our service is obviously superior to any other competitor that we have out there. Are they seeing customers that they refer come back with the ability to buy? Is there some kind of tracking or pipeline that's being given to them so that they know what's happening with that client? Do they know if the company has an A+ rating for the Better Business Bureau? Odds are they probably don't. Do they get weekly updates from this other company, giving them access with their own referral link? All of these are great questions because we're just pointing out the fact that we have a superior service. So once that's been done, you went through that process, you walked them through, you've now got a new referral partner. So the next step, once you've done your presentation and obviously got their buy-in because they're going to be very excited to work with you. Most people have no one to work with, so they're going to be extremely excited. Now it's how are you going to follow up with that client. That account, the first week after the initial meeting, you're going to want to place a phone call to them, just say, hey, I just want to follow up, see if you had any questions about the company or our services since we last spoke. And I highly recommend that when you do your follow-up for the next 3 weeks, you do it on the same exact day you meet with them. So if I meet with them on a Monday, I'm going to call them the following Monday. And then the second follow-up, I'm going to follow up the second week on a Monday. I'm going to email them. Just want to follow up, see if you had any clients in this week that were declined on their loan application, couldn't buy a car, couldn't buy a house, whatever the case may be. I'm here to help in any way I can, right? Just a friendly reminder. Third week, again, I'm on Monday. I stop by, just pop into their business and say, hey, I was just in the area, wanted to stop by and see if you need any more cards or if you have any clients, build a little bit of rapport with them. Obviously, if they're not sitting there at their desk or they're not in, I talk to some of the other employees at the location and then drop off a card on their desk so they know that I was in. And by the time the fourth week rolls around, they're going to be expecting you to call. I mean, that's the key. They're not going to want to tell you, no, I don't have anyone, because it's been a month and they just told you that they turn down 15 people a month, 20 people a month. So they're going to have someone by that fourth week. For tracking purposes, when you get a referral, so you get emailed a referral, and you want to make sure that you get back to that account with that client. So easiest way to do it if you've never used a tracking system or a CRM system before is just an Excel spreadsheet. You just want to have a column for the client name, phone number, who referred them. It will be the loan officer's name typically. If an application was taken, and then you put the date in, that time you contacted that client referral, and results or notes. So if you left voicemails, you want to put all that in there, left message, whatever the case may be, had conversation, talking to wife. The more detailed you can get in there, the better that referring account knows that you're following up with their lead. Okay, they know the status every single week. And then you want to send this to that account weekly. So even if you haven't made contact with a client, basically for the last 3 weeks, you've attempted to make contact. So that's very important.
Hey, Sierra, touch a little bit on the difference between what we consider a referral versus a lead.
Okay. So when I meet with an account, at the end of the conversation, typically they say, okay, that's great. I'll be sending some people your way. Can I have a bunch of your cards? They always ask me for a pile of cards. And I say, yeah, I'll give you a couple of cards so that you can share them with other loan officers in the building or other, salespeople in the building. However, in this industry, I found that if you give my card to someone, odds are they're not going to call me because they just sat down in front of you. You just told them that you can't help them. Then you're going to hand them my card. They're going to look at my card and either assume that I can't help them either, because not many people have. They've been declined for the last 4 loans they've applied for, or that they can't afford the service before they even know how much it is. So what I recommend is you get the client's permission for me to give them a call. And then you just shoot me a quick email with their name and contact number. That way, I can also make sure that client comes back and purchases from you, because I'll know the referral came from you. And they're all about that. So they love that. And you're getting a warm lead that way too, versus, you know, someone just calling you out of the blue, or you calling them out of the blue and them not really edifying you. If you're telling them to get the client's permission, they're edifying without even knowing it. They're edifying you without even knowing it.
Awesome, and that's key. You know, we talk about edification, and we just went through an exercise with that, and that's really what's happening. That loan officer or that finance manager, whomever, is edifying you. They're most likely telling them, hey, listen, you need to call Sierra, or you need to call Roland or Josiah or Candace or whoever it is. You need to call them because they can help you so that I can get you what it is you're trying to do, so I can get you into a home loan or get you into a car or whatever. So they're going to be edifying you, and that, for me, that's a done deal. That's a closed sale, man. As soon as I get them on the phone, I call them up and say, hey, you know, so and so referred you over to me, you know, said that you were having some challenges with your credit, you know, blah blah blah. I mean, that's a done deal. I mean, it may not happen right that day, but it's going to happen, right, Sarah? I mean, isn't that the case?
Yeah. My best accounts don't even give out a card. My best accounts literally just tell them, Sierra's going to give you a call. Is it okay if she gives you a call? You know, they ask permission. And when obviously if they're expecting my call from their lender, then they're going to do business with me, because I'm qualified by association.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
I'm edified by association. All of that comes into play. Yep.
Awesome.
So if you're more familiar with tracking systems, there's obviously a ton of CRM systems out there, customer retention management systems out there. I use Zoho. It's free to start, and then obviously as you grow and you want automatic, you can have automatic generated reports. So my weekly reports, I send out 25 or so a week, and then I have for each of my accounts, and then I have additional about 30 just for once a month that I do for realtors. So this will automatically generate it. Like, you can create the report, all of your follow-up, all of your notes automatically go into that report. It looks like an Excel almost when it's sent out, but you don't have to go in and type everything. And it pops up and reminds you to make calls, what date the follow-up calls are all popped up and generated. So awesome system. Check it out if you want to play around with it. It's free. So.
Okay, so at this point,
any questions?
Yeah, we want to go into a Q&A. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, now's the time to do that. Great information, by the way, Sierra. I really appreciate all of that information that you offered here. Does anybody have any question? That, you know, guys, one of the things to recognize is that it's all about the details, man. I mean, there was a lot of, you know, she shared a lot of stuff with us and a lot of information. And, you know, if you don't follow the process, if you miss any of the details, it can make the difference between you getting that account and them actually sending you referrals or not. Okay, so, you know, it's all about the details, and you hear us say that at the training a lot. It's all about the details. Dana's asking if she can get a copy of the follow-up steps after client contact. I can't type that fast. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely we can provide that for you, Dana. Not a problem.
Yep.
Anybody else? Any questions? What if you approach a potential account and find that they already have a relationship with an FES agent? Seems like that could be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best because you get the opportunity to edify that agent, right?
Absolutely.
So when you go in and they're working with someone else, oh, you're working with Mark Bustamante? He's amazing. That's so good. I know he's going to take great care of you. He's very dedicated to his clients. He does a great job. So glad that you're working with someone that, that's going to take care of you. You're in good hands.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Have a good day.
Awesome. And you are exactly right. And Wendy, once you begin to understand the process, I mean, at the end of the day, even though we have separate groups, and at the end of the day, and hopefully everybody that's on here is going to be a VP at some point, we're all going to be, we share in the profits of the entire organization, whether they're in your group or not. And not only that, you want to help, like Sierra said, you want to edify that agent that's in there. That's good. We want to know that we have FES agents that are out there in the marketplace and establishing these relationships and helping these people. So don't feel like it's not embarrassing at all. It's just this. It's an indication that it's working. Okay. And again, you want to take that opportunity to edify that account and let them know that, hey, you're in good hands. It's a great company, and we're going to be able to help you out. So does that make sense, Wendy? Okay.
One real quick, Mark. I'm sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Real quick. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to say, are they taking care of you? Like, you don't want to ask. You want to assume they're being taken care of, because if they're saying that they're working with someone, the odds are they are, right?
Right.
So one thing you can do, if it's in your market, you probably know the person. It's probably another agent, in your group. So I would always follow up with that agent, say, hey, I stopped in your account. They said they were working with you.
Absolutely.
I edified you a little bit, just to kind of touch base.
Absolutely. Next question is this PowerPoint available for study purpose? Yeah, we're recording this, and I can probably make the PowerPoint available as well. Is there a way to have the slideshow sent out for keeps? That's Candace. Is there original call to schedule an appointment with the dealership on the script? Is the original call to schedule an appointment with a dealership on the script? You want to talk a little bit about this here? I mean, as far as, do you make an appointment? Do you walk in cold? What's the story there?
I've done both. So you could do either one. You could even call. Like, we're in Michigan, the weather's nasty. I'm not driving around town right now. That's not going to happen. So you're picking up the phone and calling, but the script still applies, whether it's a cold call or a warm call. I really haven't done a lot of cold calls. I mean, if I drive by a dealership, I might pop in and, hand them a brochure. I always keep that in my car, too, by the way. Always keep your tools in your car and be professionally dressed, for the most part. If you're going to pop in someplace, make sure you do a one check on your attire before you do that. But, obviously if you're making a phone call, the script still applies. If you're setting an appointment to go out and see someone, usually it's hard to run out of warm market, I feel, because once you start working with a lender or a loan officer or a dealership, typically you're getting a referral from them, other lenders in other loan officers in their building, or if it's a bank, they got other bank branches. So who down in the next city over, and you get a name and number. So after you've established an account, you usually get more accounts from that account, right? It's the power of one. But when you first start out, you're talking to your mortgage officer where you bank, and you're talking to, your friend's mortgage officers, your mom's, I just asked my mom when I started, I was like, Mom, where do you bank at? And she said, Huntington Bank. And I said, okay, great. Do you like them? She said, yes. And I said, okay, because if she said no, I wouldn't go in there. So I said, okay, great. Did you know the mortgage person? She goes, no. So I just went in to her local branch and went up to the teller, and I said, hey, is your mortgage person in? And she introduced me to the mortgage person. Luckily, she was available. And I just said, my mom banks here. She's really happy with your staff. She really likes banking here. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. And I said, let me ask you a question. How many people do you turn away because of the credit? I just went into the script and did my thing. Or you can't get qualified. And so says, well, a lot. Why? Well, because I work for a company, blah, 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 right? So
That's
you
perfect.
really don't, you could actually do that without even knowing.
Right.
She doesn't know my mom actually banks there. I mean, it was a true story. I didn't lie, but you technically walk into any bank and say that. My friend banks there, and they're happy. But, you know, if you ask friends, family, where do you bank, are you happy with them? There's an in. That's a warm in my opinion. But setting an appointment, I guess I kind of veered from the subject, sorry. Setting an appointment, yeah, I would just call and say, is your mortgage officer available? You want to kind of sound like a client when you're calling. You don't want to be like, this is Sierra Swartz from United Credit, and is your mortgage person there? Because they're going to think you're telemarketing them or something. So if I call a cold lead, I would just call up and say, you know, is Pam there? Is your mortgage person there? They connect you. If you leave in a message, I'm saying, hey, it's Sierra. I just wanted to touch base with you. If you could give me a call back, that would be great. They're thinking I'm referred from a client. I am a client. They don't know who I am. So then they call me. Or you were referred to me by a friend. Can you give me a call when you get a moment? Well, my friend wants a mortgage or had a mortgage with you, whatever the case may be. So you want them to call you back thinking usually you're a client is how they're going to approach it. But then when you get them on the phone, yeah, you were referred to me by whoever they referred, and you know they knew that I might be able to help you out. Let me ask you a question. How many people do you turn away because you can't get them qualified to buy a home? Well, a lot. Why? Boom, you're into your script.
Awesome, awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, that's perfect.
I kind of rambled.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the same thing. I mean, I'll be driving by and say, oh, there's a bank, and I might be off doing something else as long as I'm dressed properly. And I have, in my briefcase, I always have my folders with my brochure. I always carry at least 10 of them with me in my brochure or my briefcase. And I'll just pull in, you know, and walk inside with my folder. I got my tools in hand and walk up and ask to talk with, you know, with the mortgage person. I think it's a great approach to say, hey, you know, if you do know somebody that's banking there or whatever, say, you know, hey, my friend banks here and they're really happy. It kind of sets them at ease. It kind of like, oh, you know, because you're complimenting them. You know, what do we say? Compliment people. It starts a conversation, makes them feel good. You know, wow, okay, great. Appreciate that. Then it kind of opens the door for you to share with them what it is you're doing. So that's awesome. Lynn wants to know, would you think it's a good idea to practice on a few to work out the bugs before you do ones on the before you do the ones on the most interest, or just jump? You know what, Lynn? I don't know. Let me say this before Sierra ends. I don't know how you would know which one's better than the other. Number one. And number two, when you take a look at the simplicity of this thing, I mean, what are you doing? You're asking them, hey, let me ask you a question. How many people are you turning away that don't qualify for a home loan, you know, each month or whatever? I mean, it's such a simple thing. As long as you have the right tools, you're dressed appropriately, and you've studied the scripts. And again, I don't know how you would determine which one might be a better lead source than another. Go ahead, Sierra. Your thoughts on that?
I think that's a great question, Lynn, because that means you've studied your script, you know your script, and you are ready to practice on a guinea pig. That's what that means. So I think that's awesome. And keep in mind, if you don't want to go into your local branch because you're like, ooh, I don't, you know, I know all those people and I don't want to stumble and fumble my words, we offer our services all over the United States. So pick up a phone book and call mortgage officers or call banks in another state and practice on them. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get really good, or the other bad thing that could possibly happen is they set up an account with you. So it's a win-win. And if they hang up on you, they're in another state, you're never going to see them anyway. And you get your practice out of the way. So you're getting better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
totally did that.
Yeah, I think
I picked up people and called, you know.
Right.
It doesn't hurt. You're going to get better, or you know, you'll get to the point where you'll be happy to go into your local bank and do it, because practice does make perfect. So.
Yeah, I agree. And the other side to that is if you go into your local bank or to you're talking about your local car dealership, you know, I mean, what a better place to start. I mean, they know you. You bought a car from them. You're a customer, right? What are they going to do? Throw you out? You know? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're going to be they might even be more forgiving Okay, if you did, and it's kind of hard to imagine
That's
you would
true.
mess it. Yeah, that you would. It's kind of hard to imagine you'd mess it up. I mean, so anyway, so good stuff. What happens if a company had a bad experience with a different agent and they would like to begin to work with a new agent? You mean an FES agent,
I'll leave that up
Candace?
to you, Mark.
Huh?
I'm going to leave that up to you, Mark.
So what happens if a company had a bad experience with you mean a different agent within FES? You know, the chances of that happening is very, yes, this is such, okay, so you ran into that situation. You know, number one, as I say, it's very rare that that's going to happen. You know, I guess what I would do in that type of situation is I would try to find out, you know, what it probably, you know, there's a couple of different things here. I would try to find out exactly what it was that happened. You know, what was the situation? You know, why were you not satisfied? Okay. Yes, a different agent working with a company that I didn't want to step on. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a, you know, it's a touchy situation. What I would do, number one, is if they are still working with that agent, then obviously you want to let that agent know, say, hey, you know, I stopped in one of your accounts, just letting you know. You may want to give them a call. You're not trying to take that account away from them. You would probably contact again, that agent that's handling that account, let them know that you stopped in there and that there were some issues, and just, you know, say, hey, I'm just letting you know, stopped in there, didn't realize that you were handling that account. You may want to call so and so. They expressed that they were having some problems, and let them take care of it. Let them resolve that situation. Apologize. We don't live in a perfect world. Stuff happens. Okay. And just apologize for them. Say, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can help you get this resolved. Let me make a phone call for you, and then leave it at that. That would be my approach. I don't know. Do you want to add to that, Sierra? I haven't had that happen personally.
No, I
So
think you're absolutely right.
yeah, you want to kind of
I think if they're with the company, if they're with the company still, that's exactly what you would do. If they're no longer with the company, obviously still you need to find out what the problem was. And if they're no longer with the company, it was probably follow up.
Sure.
I would guess, because they're not following up. So at that point, you know, you'd show how you would be different. This is how I follow up. This is my process. This is the company's process. I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Right. And if they're no longer servicing that, you know, they're no longer in charge of your account, they've been reassigned, whatever the case may be, if you know that. Right. Otherwise, you're just gonna find out, and you could always ask your your upline, if it's an agent on another team or whatever. You can ask. Obviously, talk to them first, but you can always ask if you don't know who's their upline. You can talk to their upline too. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Here's a great question. Is there a best work with the first contact versus always try to go straight to the top manager?
Great question. It depends on your relationship, like how they referred to you, so that plays a factor. But if you go to some larger banks, you're going to have a problem trying to get to the highest up person, because they're going to maybe want to run it through compliance, which is a lot of red tape. Same with larger dealerships. But you may find independent bankers, independent loan officers, independent auto dealer salespeople, or general managers that are interested in working with you, because their goal is to help the client, not necessarily cover their behind for the company. So it just depends. Sometimes it could go either way. Sometimes it's better to work just independently with individuals, and sometimes it's better, and you won't really know until you get into the situation. I guess it's hard for me to.
Yeah, and that's.
Mark, you got any input?
Yeah, and that's been my experience as well. I'll tell you, I would rather create a relationship with an individual loan officer or salesperson than try to go to the general manager or finance manager, because they're look, again, there's a lot of red tape, and they're going to have to get approval from this person, that person. You know what? I don't want to. I don't have time for that. Okay, if I can create a relationship with a salesman on the floor or an individual loan officer, which I have, okay, in place, they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call me and say, "Hey, Mark, I talked to so and so. Here's their name, here's their phone number. They're expecting your phone call. Give them a call. They need. Here's what their credit situation is." They'll send you the credit report. Okay, the manager or the finance manager or general manager, that's not, for me, that's not, I don't like dealing with them. They're too wrapped up in the company red tape. So it's harder, and there's a lot more hoops that you have to go through. Give me 10 loan officers that are within a company that are willing to call me up and send me a credit report that I can deal with. I've developed a relationship. I never go to the top manager. If I walk into a car dealership, I may go talk to the finance manager briefly, but on my way in the door, I'm handing every salesperson in that place a business card and shaking their hand. Because you know what? They're the ones that are going to send me the business, not the finance manager. He could care less. So that's just been my experience. Holly Baster, go ahead. You want to go ahead, add to that?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's all good.
Speaking to out-of-state places, can we Skype with clients, dealerships, etc., if they want to see an agent face-to-face, but you are out of state? Let me answer that, and Sarah, you can add to this. Here's the deal, Holly. This comes down to when you're dealing with out-of-state companies. Like, I have out-of-state companies that I work with, and I have out-of-state clients that never see me ever. And the reason that, and what makes that possible, I don't want to see them if I don't need to. I don't want to have to go anywhere if I don't have to, right? I'd rather have a client be referred to me. I talk to them on the phone. I sign them up, because that saves me time, energy, gas, whatever. Just allows me to do, I could be at the gym signing somebody up, or I could be at my cooking class signing somebody up. What makes that possible is your posture with them on the phone. What makes that possible is knowing the script. What makes that possible is knowing how to edify the information. Okay? If you sound wimpy on the phone, if you sound uncertain, if you don't sound like you know what you're talking about when they ask you a question, then they're not going to trust you. The cooking class thing, Kathleen, was a tongue-in-cheek thing. Sierra does a cooking class every week, so I was kind of joking. But if you don't sound professional with them, then they're not going to trust you. So I sign up clients. I can't even, to be honest with you, and you want to go into your local community and establish these accounts, okay? I strongly encourage you to do that. I can't remember the last time I met a client face-to-face. And, sometimes when they tell me that they want to meet with me, I say, "Are you bringing me money?" Because if you're bringing me money and you're ready to sign up, then I don't have a problem with meeting with you. How do you make, do you want to add to that, Sarah? I mean,
yes, I do. I absolutely agree. I've had in almost 2 years now, I'll be 2 years in March, 3 clients that I have met in person. And I have an office. And I've only met 3 clients because, again, the edification and the trust comes from knowing your script and getting the referral process down.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, that was not me, that was Mark. Just so everyone on the phone knows.
That was me. Oh, funny.
So, but it's true. Like if you're edified properly by your referring account, they're going to trust you by default. And then if you know your content in your script, they're going to trust you even more. So usually the only time there's a third verification of trust is when they say, you know, I kind of like to think about it, or okay, let me, you know, make sure you check out the website. Then the website, you edify the website seals the deal, and then you're done. So not very often have I ever had to do that, even with out-of-area clients or out-of-state clients.
Perfect. Okay, so how do you make the transition when you are used to being in retail store selling, 10 years of face-to-face, and more anxious on the phone? The voice literally cracks. Practice. You just have to practice. You just have to practice. You have to know, the more you know the information, know your scripts. I tell my new agents, make sure that when you go to the united-credit.org that you read the information on that site. If you read your scripts, you're learning about how our program works. The more confidence you have, I mean, I look at it this way. If somebody calls me up on the phone and says, hey, I was referred to you by so-and-so, or if I call somebody up and they were referred to me by one of my referral partners, when I call them up, my expectation in my mind is like, look, you just got turned down. You're trying to buy a home. You're trying to buy a car. You're trying to do something. I have the solution for you. I'm in control, not the client. I have the solution to their problem. I don't get excited. I'm going to help you. Right? That's what when we talk about posture, it's not like from a arrogance or anything like that. It's just the reality. You're trying to do something. You can't do it. I have a solution for you. That's my mentality when I'm talking to them on the phone. And believe me, they know that. They know that because of my tonality. One of the things we talk about in training is tonality. I'm in control of that call. I have what you need. I can lead you to the promised land. So, and that just comes from trainings, going to trainings, knowing your scripts, studying your website, and feeling confident and actually going out there and doing it a few times. Sierra?
I can relate. I came from 10 plus years of retail, face-to-face, and the difference here is you're not selling anything. You think you are because that's what your brain tells you you're doing, and that's what you've always done, but you're literally a doctor prescribing a prescription for their ailment, and they can take it or not. So when they come to you, they know they need your help. Like, they know they have bad credit. You're not trying to sell them on the fact that they have bad credit and they need to fix it. They already know that. So it's exactly like Mark said. You're literally filling a need. When I get done with a conversation, they're thanking me. I'm not thanking them for calling me. They're thank you so much for showing me how this works and giving me the information. And if they can't stop right there, it's money. They can't come up with the funds right away. So I'll ask people when they can, because I don't typically do split pays, or I do. The value is there at $4.99. So, initially you're like, wow, when you first start as an agent, you're like, $4.99, how do I sell someone at $400? That's not what you're doing. And once you get over that, you realize that's not what you're doing, you won't take very many applications at less than $4.99 full pays. You'll wait 4 weeks for someone to get the money together because you know the value's there. They then feel that the value's there because you know it's there, and they'll make it happen. So, it's a confidence thing, definitely, and the more practice that you have in the scripts and the more trainings you go to, the more confidence you'll have. That's why those systems are in place, is to give you that confidence, because the confidence is what sells, so to speak, the service, is your confidence in it and your trust in it. So trainings are going to get you there, trainings and practice.
That's a great point. We're not selling. We're not trying to sell anybody anything. We have a solution to your problem. That's a great point.
One last thought on that. Before we move on. So much that we're not selling this is that the fact that when you have a conversation with a client and they maybe even blow you off after you've had the conversation, they don't return your call. I would say probably 7 out of 10 times they're going to call you back within the next year. They will call you back. They'll keep your number for 6 months. Even though they blew you off and didn't return your call or say they weren't interested, they'll call you 6 months later and say, I talked to you 6 months ago, and I'm ready to do credit repair now. Because their situation ain't going to get better on its own. So they know that you have the prescription to their needs.
Awesome. Wayne wants to know, if you're trying to get an out-of-town referral business, how do you get the folder package to them? You said mail?
I've mailed them out before. I had somebody want me to mail them to them. I said, sure, I'll mail you some information.
Yeah.
I walk them through the website. You know, you're going to do everything the script says over the phone. If they say, well, can you send, they'll usually say, can you send me some more information? And then you mail them out the folder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done the same. Yeah, you can create a PDF, Lauren, but, you know, that's fine. I mean, you can, yeah, you can. I have created. You know, you can buy the big size envelopes, and I've mailed out the packages to some of my out of town folks that need them. But here's the thing: if I have a relationship, for another, let me say this: if I have a relationship with an out of state lender or finance person or whatever, salesperson, I have a relationship with them, meaning that we're friends, right? They don't even need that, because here's the deal. I don't even need to give it to them, because here's what I know is that when that person comes into their office and they get denied, they're not even going to give my business card. Like Sierra said in the beginning, she's not giving her business cards to that salesperson to give to the customers. Those business cards are to pass out to your other salespeople on the floor, because at the end of the day, we don't want them to give the business card or the information to the client. We want them to tell the client that they're going to get permission from them to give us their name and phone number via email, text message. I have some referral partners that text me a name and a phone number. Or they'll send me an email with their name and the phone number and a copy of their credit report. So they don't really need that. And, you know, again, just depends upon your relationship with that person. Suggestion, try looking at a picture of a person as they talk and talk as if they are that person. That's awesome. Check out my just got my connection back. Okay. PDF horse. You can send the folder electronically. Again, I mean, guys, if you have the relationship with the person that's the referral partner, you know, the website, you know, having them go to united-credit.org is enough for me. I don't want them to give that client anything. They don't have to. Get their name and phone number. Send it to me.
Yeah, I've had, here's the other thing. If you have an account that's like, hey, give me a bunch of brochures. I want to pass all these brochures out. I'll give them like 5 brochures, and then I'll do my regular follow-up with them. But typically, I don't get any business from them, because if you're handing out brochures and handing out my card, those people ain't ever going to call me. So you're kind of wasting your time. Like, I went back, tried to train them to get their name and everything. Again, you know, if you could just get the permission, how many people, I gave all your cards out. So you gave out 10 cards. You gave all my cards out. No one called me. Can I suggest that we'd have more success if you could get their permission and shoot me a quick email? You know, you do that a couple of times, and if they don't get it, they're not going to refer to you. It's never going to work. Right.
Absolutely. See, people have been trained. You know, we've all been to the big networking events. You know, bring a lot of business cards with you, right? So you can pass out business cards. I don't pass out business cards. I got a box of business cards I bought here probably a year ago. I still probably have 3/4 of them. I don't give out business cards. I collect business cards. The only reason I give out a business card is as a personal courtesy. But before I give you my card, guess what? You're giving me yours. You know, so just because somebody's, you know, don't think that passing out a bunch of business cards or that referral partner passing out your business card is going to get you any business, because like Sierra said, they're not going to call you. You know, so, you know, again, you have to train them and teach them to get permission for them to get permission from that referral so that they can send you their name and phone number so that you can contact them. I tell my referral partners, I'm going to be proactive, because if I can be proactive and I can get that client into this program, then guess what? They're going to come back to you. I'm going to make sure that they come back to you, and that's going to be a commission for you. That's going to be a sale for you. So, any other questions? Go ahead.
I have one more comment. It's also helpful to set up that process ahead of time, because you can control the situation a little bit better too. And as you get volume, you want a little bit more control. So when if someone's handing out your card, and let's say people were calling you, or they were just telling people to call you, or whatever the case may be, you're getting random calls, like all during the day. You might have another job, you might have other responsibilities, where if you're getting an email, first off, I got to tell you how great it is to have ding, please call this person, ding, please call this person, pop up on your phone. Emails to your phone that ding, and that's like, it's like money. I should change my dinger to the sound of money. Because those emails, that's what that is. Their new client wants you to reach out to them. New client wants you to reach out to them. But it gives you the flexibility to reach out to them when you're ready, when you're sitting down, when you maybe got your script out in front of you because you want it there as a reminder if you lose your place, that type of thing. You can sit and prepare. Where if you're answering a phone call, now you're on the spot. So control the situation. Have those emails sent to you.
Okay, Sierra. Dana wants to know how to set up the initial call to make the appointment to talk to them. Are you talking about Are you talking about on the phone, Dana, to set up the appointment? Yeah, I'm assuming she's talking about on the phone to set up that appointment. So what are some of the things that?
Account?
Huh?
For a new account?
Yeah. So what are the things that you're? Go ahead.
I'm only setting an appointment if there's a reason I need to. Like, if I go through the whole script, if I call the person and I get them on the phone, or I want them to call me back, I leave a general message, so they think I'm a client, potentially, and they call me back. But if I talk to them, they answer the phone, my goal is to start the script. I'm going to go right into the script. I'm not going to try to set an appointment unless I have to, because I don't have to. They might be interested in referring to me before I have to see them. They might send me business. So the only time I really go out and meet someone is maybe if I've talked to them, they seem very interested, and then on my third week follow-up, I'm popping in to see them, and I'm just popping in to see them. So I don't schedule a lot necessarily. Mark, do you do that differently than me?
No. So Dana had lost her connection. We had talked about this a little bit earlier, but so typically what we try to do is when we call them up if we're calling on an account, I'm going to follow the script. I'm going to go word by word, verbatim through the script. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the folders. She's asking, so you just walk into folders? Yeah, so the folders come into play, Dana, if you're out cold calling on businesses. I mean, those are normally if I walk into a business, I normally don't set up an appointment with a company. I'll walk in with a folder, have a conversation with some people there, and determine whether or not, if there's a reason for me to come back, then I can schedule an appointment, right? But if there's not, then I'm not coming. I'm not. If based on that initial cold call when I walk in, I give them the folder and they see all the information, I go through my pitch and they agree to send me referrals, then I'm going to follow the process that Sierra went through earlier. So the folders are more for a cold call type situation. I don't really set up a lot of appointments. I like to walk into places cold, man. That just works for me.
I know that Dana's been doing some group appointments where she'll go in and present. This is
another Dana.
Oh, it's another Dana.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, but still, same thing might apply for other people. If you're going in and you're doing a presentation, or you have a scheduled appointment and you go in, I always give the folder as a leave behind. I don't usually give it to them at the beginning of the presentation, because then they're looking through and they're not listening to me. So I go in, shake their hand, introduce myself, go through the script with them over, at the desk, show them the web if I need to. And then as a leave behind, I'm leaving some information with them, which is the folder, the brochure, and my business card.
So I was wondering, how do you find the companies you want to call on? They're just, you know, you can do a Google search for companies, real estate offices in your area, or mortgage companies in your area, or car dealerships in your area. You know, so when you're on your way home from work or you're out and about doing your thing, you know, just kind of business casual minimum, and have those folders with you all the time so that as you pass those places, you can pop in there and walk in and shake some hands, smile, and say, hey, you know, go through the script with them. Like, and then, you know, at the end, give them the information. Wayne wants to know, what are you using for an email account for them to email us? I use Outlook, Wayne. Today's world, Gmail is widely accepted. So in other words, you know, you don't necessarily have to have a domain-specific email address. You can have multiple Gmail accounts. I like to keep it simple. You know, I'm not going to create a separate account for, I've had my same email account for years, you know, that I use that doesn't have anything to do with FES. It's my consulting company that I had 10 years ago, and I just never changed my email address. Some people create an FES Gmail account, and that's fine as well, you know. So I wouldn't stress too much over that piece. I mean, obviously you don't want to have I say it's better to have a Gmail than as a Hotmail or an AOL account, you know.
And you want it to be somewhat your handle, your email handle, or whatever, your name to be
right.
Maybe your name.
Yeah,
not like,
absolutely.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, you want to have like
Hot
your,
body,
you know,
or something.
Wayne. Yeah, right, right. And it's funny because you see all kinds of crazy emails, email handles. But you know, obviously Wayne at gmail.com, or Wayne, your last name, at gmail.com. You know,
something professional. So.
Something professional, exactly. Any other questions? Yes, Candace, I know. Candace, as she made hers, Candace Place FES at gmail.com. Yeah, you know, I mean, that's fine. It's got your name in there. It's got FES in there. That's cool. You know, that's awesome. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Awesome. Well, it's been a great information. You know, you're welcome, Dana. It's been great sharing this time with you guys. I hope that you guys got a lot of value. Thank you, Sierra, for sharing with everybody, you know, what it is that you're doing out there to be successful with this. I think that's awesome, and you're an awesome leader, and I look forward to seeing you here in the next weekend?
Next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend in Chicago. Yeah. We'll be hanging out.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. So, okay, guys, have an awesome evening. Like I said, you know, what works? Get to a training. Get to the convention. You're not going to you can't even understand the impact that it's going to have on your business. Do whatever you can to get to the convention. That would be, you know, I tell people this all the time. When people ask me, what do I need to do to make this work? You got to be at the convention. You got to be in the trainings. That's what makes it work. Without that, we can teach you all of this stuff, but if you're not working on yourself, if you're not working on your mind, if you're not working on improving who you are, it's not going to work. Okay? So anyway, have an awesome evening. Thank you, Sierra, and hopefully we got a recording here. So we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Mark.
Alrighty, take care.